Camera speed, rolling. Ride out one last summit. Scene 3, take 1.
I had held a meeting in Kuala Lumpur, and these men were all very prominent men, wealthy men, and high government positions as well. One man was the second highest in the royal guard of the king. Another was the second highest man in the Defense Department. I mean, this was quite a class. So they all became Christians. It was a beautiful. I held the meeting one week, and that's about 3 hours a night. And when I got through with 1 week, they said, "Hey, you can't leave. You got to stay on." So I held a 2-week meeting with them. When I got through with them, they were all baptized. So they said, "We got a friend we want you to meet." They sent me down to Jakarta, Indonesia, to meet this man, and he was the head of the overseas Chinese banks. And so I went down there, I walked into his office. He saw me. I gave him the letter of introduction, and all it said was, "Ken has taught us a truth that we want you to hear." And so he looked at it. He says, "All right." He says, "I'm busy all morning long, but I'll meet you for lunch." So it was really good, and lunchtime came. So I'm sitting at the table. I'm there ahead of him, and he came in, and he sat down. He didn't introduce his name or anything. He says, "All right, what is this truth they're talking about?" I mean, that was it. He didn't say hello or anything. So I said, "Do you believe in God?" He says, "No." I said, "Why?" He said, "Look, if there were a God, he wouldn't create a world like this." He says, "Right outside of the window here, we're spending big money for food. Right outside of the window, you got people that are starving to death and eating off them crumbs." He says there's war, there's killing, there's slaughter, there's cheating, there's corruption in all areas of the world. He said there's no equality of people. People are starving to death while others have so much plenty. He said, "No, if there were a God, he wouldn't create a world like this." So I said, "So you're saying it's God's fault?" He said, "Yeah." So I always carried a tablet with me, but I had a piece of paper, and I took the paper out, blank page, and I drew a line down the middle. I put man in the world on the left side, and I put God over on the right side. And so I wrote down the things that he said, some of them: lying, stealing, killing, wars, slaughter, corruption. And so I wrote that down. I said, "Now you're saying that the one who is at fault here is God?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, let's just take God out of the picture." So I just crossed him out. I said, "No God." "But now who are you going to blame? There's no God up there to blame." He said, "Well, I guess it's us." I said, "You mean men?" He said, "Yeah, it's man's fault." I said, "Fine, are you sure about that?" He said, "Yeah, it's man's fault." I said, "Good, let's put God back in the picture." I said, "Now why blame God for something you know that man has done?" 25 years later, he obeyed the gospel. Wow. So that was something. Hard sell. Hard sell, right. Okay, let's hurry down through this.